Network Marketing, MLM. Audiobook, How It Works and a History of the Industry. Network marketing, often called multi-level marketing or direct selling, has changed dramatically over the last century. What began as small person-to-person sales in mid-century America grew into a global industry measured in the hundreds of billions. Along the way, it moved through distinct eras: early door-to-door selling, rapid expansion, and legal battles, the first wave of online tools, and now a digital shift led by creators and social commerce. In this audiobook, we'll trace that journey from the 1930s to today. We'll highlight the big turning points, the companies and ideas that shaped the model, and the moments when regulators stepped in. We'll also look at where the industry stands now, who's buying, who's selling, and why growth has slowed in some markets while accelerating in others. Then we'll dig into the core criticisms of the legacy model: inventory loading, autoship pressure, income claims, and how modern players are trying to fix them. Finally, we'll compare network marketing with affiliate marketing and influencer marketing so you can see what's truly different, what overlaps, and where the future is likely headed. Network Marketing 1.0, the early origins, 1930s to 1950s. Person-to-person selling is ancient, but the modern multi-level model took shape in the United States around the mid-20th century. The idea was simple: sell a product directly to customers and earn a commission, not just on your own sales, but also on the sales of people you introduce and train. A major breakthrough came in 1945 when the California Vitamin Company, later known as Neutralite, formalized a multi-level compensation plan. That structure created the downline concept, a leveraged network where training others could multiply your income. In 1959, two Neutralite distributors, Rich DeVos and J. Van Andel, launched Amway using similar principles, and it quickly became one of the most influential companies in the space. Around the same time, Shackley and other pioneers helped establish the template: independent representatives selling directly to consumers, earning retail profit plus tiered overrides from their teams. This first era set the DNA of the industry: low barriers to entry, home-based selling, and growth through training new distributors. It also planted the seeds of future debate: powerful leverage when networks grow, but heavy dependence on recruiting and replication to make the numbers work. Network Marketing 2.0, Expansion and Challenges, 1960s to 1980s. By the 1960s and 70s, the multi-level model was spreading quickly. Dozens of new companies appeared, each aiming to capture a piece of the growing direct sales boom. Mary Kay Cosmetics, founded in 1963, became a household name by focusing on women entrepreneurs and offering recognition programs that combined income with status and community. In 1980, Herbalife entered the scene with its line of diet supplements, helping to fuel the industry's rapid rise in the health and wellness space. The 1970s brought explosive growth, but also heightened scrutiny. A turning point came in 1979 when the Federal Trade Commission concluded a lengthy investigation into Amway. In a landmark ruling, the FTC determined that Amway was not an illegal pyramid scheme, provided that certain safeguards were followed. Among these safeguards were buyback policies to protect distributors and a requirement that compensation be tied primarily to actual product sales to customers, rather than just recruitment. That decision gave the industry legitimacy and opened the door for further expansion. During the same period, the party plan model gained traction, building on the popularity of Tupperware's home parties from the 1950s. This format, gathering people in a social setting for demonstrations and sales, added a sense of fun and community, and it attracted large numbers of women seeking flexible income opportunities. By the 1980s, participation in MLM was at its peak in the United States, as many were drawn to the idea of working from home and being their own boss. But the growth came with shadows. The same decade saw a wave of fraudulent companies, such as Costco and others, that operated as pyramid schemes and collapsed, leaving participants with losses. These scandals damaged the industry's reputation and prompted regulators worldwide to draw sharper distinctions between legitimate direct selling and illegal pyramids. Many countries began to pass specific laws against pyramid schemes, reinforcing the message that only real product sales, not endless recruitment, could sustain the model. Network Marketing 3.0, Globalization and the Internet Era, 1990s to 2000s. The 1990s marked the start of network marketing's globalization. Leading U.S. companies expanded aggressively overseas, turning what had once been a mostly American experiment into a worldwide phenomenon. Markets in Asia, especially Japan, South Korea, and eventually China, became major growth engines, while Europe also emerged as a strong base. China, however, presented both opportunity and challenge. After explosive early growth, the government banned MLM in 1998 due to widespread pyramid abuses. A few years later, they reintroduced a tightly regulated form of direct selling, underscoring the tension between rapid expansion and consumer protection. At the same time, technology began to transform the industry. Email and the early internet gave distributors new ways to manage their businesses. Online ordering replaced paper forms, genealogy tracking software mapped downlines, and long-distance recruiting became easier than ever. In the 2000s, company-provided e-commerce platforms and replicated websites made it possible for distributors to sell without stocking inventory in their garages. Then came the social media era. By the late 2000s, platforms like Facebook and YouTube became game changers, offering reach and visibility far beyond kitchen table meetings or hotel presentations. Training moved online, presentations went virtual, and personal branding became as important as the products themselves. By the turn of the millennium, network marketing had matured into a global, tech-enabled industry. Giants like Amway, Avon, Herbalife, Mary Kay, and Nu Skin consistently dominated revenue charts, proving that MLM was no longer just a homegrown business model. It had become a worldwide sector, shaped as much by technology and global regulation as by tradition. Network Marketing 4.0, Social Selling, and Digital Transformation, 2010s to present. In the last decade, network marketing has begun reinventing itself. Pressured by regulations, shifting consumer expectations, and competition from newer business models, the industry has been forced to adapt. This era, what many call Network Marketing 4.0, is defined by digital-first strategies and hybrid approaches that borrow heavily from the booming creator economy and gig economy. Social media has become the new meeting ground. By the late 2010s, nearly half of all direct sellers were running online parties or live demonstrations through platforms like Facebook Live, Instagram Stories, Zoom, and eventually TikTok. Instead of living room presentations and hotel meetings, distributors now act more like influencers, building personal brands and using their content to attract customers. Another major shift is the introduction of digital products and services. Some companies now sell app subscriptions, online education, or even financial tools, far removed from the vitamins, lotions, and kitchenware of the past. This removes the problem of shipping and inventory while appealing to a younger, tech-savvy generation. Mobile apps and cloud-based dashboards have become standard tools, giving distributors instant access to training, customer management, and real-time tracking of their businesses. In many ways, Network Marketing 4.0 blurs the line between a traditional MLM distributor, an affiliate marketer, and a social media influencer. The focus is shifting away from old-school practices like autoship and garage inventory toward genuine retail sales, online storefronts, and scalable marketing powered by e-commerce and personal branding. This is the version of network marketing most people encounter today, a model that is less about duplication in someone's living room and more about building an audience, offering value online, and creating sales through trust, content, and connection. Global and US MLM industry statistics. Despite decades of controversy, network marketing remains a very large global industry. In 2023, worldwide retail sales from direct selling were estimated at nearly $168 billion, spread across more than 100 million independent distributors in over 70 countries. While that number is impressive, it also reflects a slowdown. Sales peaked around $173 billion in 2021, surged during the pandemic as people looked for home-based income, and then slipped by about 3% as conditions normalized. Even with that decline, the industry is still larger than it was before the pandemic, but the global footprint is highly concentrated. The top 10 markets account for nearly 4 out of every $5 in sales. The United States remains the single largest market, followed by strongholds like South Korea, China, Germany, and Japan. To put it in perspective, the US and Korea each generate between $15 and $40 billion annually, while many smaller countries barely break a few hundred million. The mix of products also shows interesting shifts. Wellness remains the largest category, about 32% of sales, but it has been declining slightly from earlier highs. Cosmetics and personal care remain strong at roughly a quarter of global revenue. One of the fastest growing segments is household goods and durable products, which jumped from about 12% of sales in 2019 to 17% in 2023. This diversification shows the industry reaching beyond its traditional focus on nutrition and beauty, participation, and demographics. At its peak in 2021, an estimated 118 million people worldwide were involved in multi-level marketing, but that number has been declining ever since, with around 12 million fewer sellers by 2023. Much of that drop reflects a post-COVID correction. During the pandemic, interest surged as people searched for home-based income. Once the world reopened, many drifted away. It's important to note that most participants are not full-time entrepreneurs. In fact, only about 1 in 10 treat it as their main job. The rest see it as part-time, flexible, or supplemental income. The demographic makeup is also striking. Women make up the vast majority of participants, usually between 70 and 80%, and even higher in some countries. In the US, for example, nearly 3 out of 4 direct sellers are women. The appeal has long been marketed as flexible entrepreneurship and empowerment, being able to be your own boss while balancing family life. But as we'll see later, the financial reality often doesn't live up to the promise. Average earnings are modest. A study in the United Kingdom found that the mean monthly income for direct sellers was around $500, with most doing MLM alongside other jobs. A small elite of top distributors do earn large incomes, but the majority earn very little, or even lose money, once expenses are factored in. U.S. market focus. The United States remains the single largest direct selling market in the world. In 2021, U.S. retail sales hit a record $42.7 billion, fueled by a pandemic-driven boost, but that was the high water mark. Sales slipped to just over $40 billion in 2022, and then dropped further to $36.7 billion in 2023, a sharp decline that reflects market saturation and increased competition from other channels. On the participation side, numbers tell a similar story. In 2021, about 7.7 million Americans were actively selling through direct sales or MLM. By 2023, that had fallen to 6.1 million, and only about 500,000 of those were full-time. The other 5.6 million treated it as part-time or side income. The customer base is still large. Roughly 38 million Americans purchased direct selling products in 2023, but even that number is down by about 8% from the year before. Interestingly, the Direct Selling Association now draws a clear line between 3 groups: active sellers, preferred customers, and discount buyers. In 2023, there were 6.1 million sellers, but also 30.8 million preferred customers and 6.9 million discount buyers. Many of those who join aren't building a business at all. They're signing up simply to access discounted products. Product trends in the U.S. also reveal a shift. Wellness has long been the largest category, but in 2023, services actually edged ahead. That includes things like insurance or utilities sold through MLM channels, which made up 33.7% of sales. Wellness products were close behind at 32.4%, and cosmetics and personal care came in at about 29%. Together, these statistics show a mature U.S. market that is not growing the way it once did. Participation is shrinking, sales are retreating, and many people involved today are really just customers looking for discounts, rather than entrepreneurs building a business. Taken together, the numbers show that multi-level marketing has plateaued. After decades of steady expansion, both global and U.S. participation have begun to contract from their highs. Instead of broad growth, the momentum is shifting into pockets of emerging markets. Latin America, for example, posted nearly 7% growth in 2023, while countries like India and Kazakhstan saw double-digit gains. By contrast, the United States and several Asia-Pacific markets are either flat or in decline. This uneven picture suggests that the traditional model has reached its limits in mature economies, where saturation and reputation issues weigh heavily. That stagnation is pushing the industry to reinvent itself. The next phase, what many call network marketing 4.0, is about adapting to new channels, embracing digital tools, and putting a greater emphasis on real customers rather than endless recruiting. It's a shift designed not only to revive growth, but also to make the business more sustainable in the long run. For all its growth, the legacy model of multi-level marketing has always carried deep flaws that shaped its reputation. 4 problems stand out most clearly: inventory loading, autoship requirements, restrictions on cross-promotion, and uneven compensation. These issues, more than anything else, explain why MLM has often been criticized and why reforms have been slow but necessary. One of the most damaging practices has been inventory loading. This happens when distributors are pressured or outright required to buy large amounts of product, not because customers are asking for it, but because it helps them qualify for commissions or advance in rank. Instead of focusing on real retail demand, people end up buying their own bonuses. Over time, this leads to the classic story of garages and basements filled with unsold stock, purchased on personal credit. Even when companies offer buyback guarantees, they rarely cover the full loss. Participants are often discouraged from using the guarantee, and it never makes up for the extra costs of training, travel, or promotional materials. Regulators have flagged this pattern again and again as a warning sign of unhealthy or even illegal structures. In a healthy business model, income should come from customers choosing products, not from distributors stockpiling inventory. Closely tied to inventory loading is the practice of autoship. Many companies enroll their representatives in automatic monthly product shipments, billing them whether they need the products or not. On paper, this creates predictable sales volume. In reality, it forces participants to buy more than they could ever reasonably use or sell. For most, it feels less like running a business and more like coerced consumption, with commissions flowing upward while those at the bottom accumulate expenses. Legal settlements in recent years have highlighted this problem and pushed for reforms, recommending that companies eliminate monthly minimums, or at least ensure that personal purchases don't count toward commission requirements. The principle is simple. Income should come from real customer sales, not from a cycle of distributors paying in just to stay qualified. Yet for years, many legacy companies leaned heavily on autoship, to the point where internal purchases accounted for most of their so-called retail activity. That dynamic moves MLM away from being a sales business and closer to a recruitment chain. Another long-standing issue is the way companies restrict entrepreneurship. Traditional MLM firms have often imposed strict non-compete clauses or exclusivity agreements that prohibit distributors from joining another company at the same time. They may also ban participants from promoting unrelated businesses to their networks, even in their own spare time. The rationale is to prevent leaders from pulling their downlines into competing opportunities, but the effect is stifling. Sellers lose the freedom to diversify their income streams or curate offers that might serve their audience better. This rigidity no longer fits the modern economy, where entrepreneurs see themselves as independent marketers who build their own brands and select products from multiple sources. The trend is shifting toward flexibility and autonomy, and many regulators have begun signaling that such restrictive practices are out of step with the realities of independent work. Perhaps the biggest structural challenge lies in the way compensation is distributed. In theory, commissions are shared across multiple levels of a sales network. In practice, however, the distribution is lopsided. A small number of top-ranked leaders take home the majority of bonuses, while most participants at the bottom earn little to nothing. Compensation plans often include mechanisms like breakage, where unearned commissions from lower-level distributors roll up to those higher in the chain or revert back to the company. Advancement usually requires significant recruiting, and without large teams, most people never reach the ranks needed to benefit from deeper payouts. The math itself ensures a steep pyramid of earnings. A few at the top profit greatly, while the vast majority struggle or drop out. Studies consistently show that most distributors either break even or lose money once expenses like products, travel, and training are factored in. The median income for many plans is effectively zero. Recruitment pitches often highlight extraordinary success stories, but these outliers don't reflect typical outcomes. Regulators have repeatedly warned companies not to exaggerate earning potential, yet lifestyle promises continue to dominate the marketing narrative. The traditional MLM model, then, has long carried built-in challenges: high startup costs, mandatory purchases, ongoing fees, relentless recruitment pressure, and restrictive policies that protect the company more than the seller. These problems have drawn regulatory scrutiny and forced many established firms to make changes, from offering lower-cost entry options to improving buyback policies and disclosing more accurate income statistics. Some aggressive practices have been softened or removed altogether. Still, even with reforms, the fundamental criticisms remain. For many observers, MLM is still a system where the odds are stacked heavily against the average participant. That reputational weight continues to shape how the industry is perceived today, and it is one of the most serious hurdles legacy companies must overcome if they hope to survive into the future. Transition to network marketing 4.0, the digital model. In response to the challenges of the past, the network marketing industry is in the middle of a major transformation. This new phase, often called network marketing 4.0, blends digital platforms, social media influence, and customer-first strategies into a model that feels very different from the old garage full of inventory days. The goal is to combine the personal touch of direct selling with the scalability and openness of digital commerce. In the past, a distributor's role looked a lot like door-to-door selling and team recruiting. In today's model, that role is shifting towards something much closer to being a digital creator, an affiliate marketer, and a community builder. Modern network marketers increasingly behave like influencers. They build audiences on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, or Facebook, then use their personal brand to share content, provide value, and recommend products. Some companies have even introduced affiliate-style programs that let people promote products through referral links without requiring full enrollment. A recent example is Usana's initiative, which pays individuals 15 to 20% commissions on direct sales without the need to build a downline. It's a clear sign that the line between MLM distributor, affiliate, and influencer is blurring. Another major development is the rise of digital products and services. For decades, MLM companies were built on physical goods like supplements, cosmetics, and kitchenware. Now many are moving into intangible offerings delivered online. These range from streaming fitness subscriptions to personal development courses, travel memberships, fintech apps, and even crypto education. Selling digital products removes the inventory problem altogether and aligns with global trends in e-learning and subscription services. It also appeals to younger, tech-savvy audiences who expect mobile-first solutions. Even long-established companies are digitizing their approach by offering apps for customers to order directly and online platforms for training. A distributor today can prospect, enroll, and serve a customer entirely online, without ever hosting a living room demo or managing stock. Perhaps the most radical shift is the move toward marketplace platforms and personalized storefronts. Instead of being locked into a single company's catalog, emerging models allow entrepreneurs to curate a selection of products from multiple partner brands. A fitness influencer, for example, might promote a protein shake from one company, apparel from another, and a meditation app from a third, all under their own storefront. This approach positions the seller as a micro-entrepreneur who builds their boutique around personal brand and audience needs. Old non-compete rules made this impossible, but those restrictions are loosening. The result is a more flexible, seller-centric model that gives individuals far more control over their business. Transparency and compliance are also becoming central pillars of this new era. Modern companies are under pressure to publish clear income disclosures, enforce ethical marketing, and ensure that earnings are tied to genuine retail sales rather than endless recruitment. Many now provide training on responsible claims, especially in sensitive areas like health and income. Some are even experimenting with technologies like blockchain to make commission payments faster and more transparent. The shift is about restoring credibility, distancing the business from accusations of being a pyramid scheme by putting customers, not recruits, at the center of the model. As one industry leader put it recently, this is a moment to broaden the model, include more stakeholders, and take greater responsibility for communities and the planet, not just profit. Finally, technology itself is making the model more scalable than ever before. Artificial intelligence is being used to identify promising leads and make product recommendations. Augmented and virtual reality are beginning to enhance customer experiences through virtual try-ons or immersive online parties. Back-end systems now handle millions of commission transactions in real time, something that would have been impossible decades ago. Most importantly, distributors are no longer limited to their personal contacts or local community. A single person with a smartphone can now reach a global audience, run a business 24/7, and build a customer base that spans continents. In summary, Network Marketing 4.0 is about combining the relationship-driven DNA of the past with the digital-first mindset of the present. Companies that adapt to this shift, embracing influencer partnerships, customer-centric storefronts, and scalable technology, are finding ways to grow even as older models stall. Whether legacy firms can fully reinvent themselves or whether a new wave of platform-based social selling companies will take the lead remains to be seen. What is clear is that the industry of the future will look very different from the high-pressure recruiting models of the past. The focus will be on real customers, personalized marketing, and ethical, sustainable growth. Regulatory, legal, and financial critiques of MLM. No serious look at network marketing is complete without examining the controversies that have followed it since the very beginning. Regulators, consumer advocates, and researchers have spent decades questioning whether MLM practices truly serve participants, or whether they sometimes cross into pyramid scheme territory, mislead recruits financially, or operate in ways that are exploitative. These critiques form the shadow side of the industry, and they're based on patterns that can't be ignored. The first and most serious concern is the allegation that many MLMs are simply pyramid schemes in disguise. A pyramid scheme is an illegal structure where compensation is based primarily on recruitment rather than real product sales. Regulators have made it clear that even if a company sells actual products, it can still qualify as a pyramid scheme if the emphasis is on enrolling new participants instead of serving retail customers. By design, pyramid schemes leave the majority of participants losing money, since the financial rewards flow to a small group at the top while the vast base struggles with losses. Over the years, regulators have acted against multiple companies accused of this, from Equinox in the 1990s to Vema Nutrition in 2015 and Advocare in 2019. The Herbalife settlement in 2016 was especially significant because it forced one of the industry's largest firms to restructure its practices and cap personal volume qualifications. The legal precedent is clear. To be legitimate, a business model must tie rewards to actual customer sales, not endless chain recruiting. The second major critique revolves around income claims and financial harm. For decades, the promise of financial freedom has been central to MLM recruiting pitches. Stories of early retirement, luxury cars, and massive incomes. Yet the reality for most participants is far different. Studies and disclosures repeatedly show that only a fraction of 1% ever achieve significant profits, while the vast majority earn little or lose money after factoring in product purchases, travel, event tickets, and marketing expenses. Surveys like the one conducted by AARP in 2018 revealed that nearly half of older participants reported losses, and those who did profit often made under $5,000 total. Consumer protection agencies continue to warn people about exaggerated lifestyle claims, pointing out that they are outliers rather than typical results. For many, the cycle of monthly purchase requirements creates negative cash flow, effectively turning distributors into the company's most reliable customers. A third critique centers on the products themselves. Because so many MLMs are built on health and wellness items, there have been repeated problems with exaggerated claims, weight loss miracles, unproven cures, or promises that simply don't hold up under scientific scrutiny. Regulators have stepped in when companies failed to monitor or control what their independent distributors were saying online or in person. Another issue is price. MLM products are often significantly more expensive than comparable items in regular retail stores, a direct result of needing to support multi-tiered commissions. A shake that sells for $30 in a store might cost $60 through an MLM, with the difference paying bonuses up the chain. This creates what some call a pricing bubble, where the majority of sales are sustained by distributors themselves rather than genuine outside demand. If internal consumption is driven more by qualification needs than real customer interest, regulators view it as a red flag. Finally, there are ongoing regulatory developments. In recent years, the Federal Trade Commission has signaled that it intends to crack down harder on deceptive earnings claims, with a proposed rule that would allow it to penalize misleading income promises more quickly. Proposals to ban non-compete clauses could also change the landscape by preventing companies from restricting distributors from working with multiple firms at the same time. In response, many of the largest MLM companies have adopted stricter codes of ethics, clearer income disclosures, and stronger buyback guarantees. But critics argue that industry groups often push back against tougher regulation, creating a tug-of-war between reform and resistance. Outside the U.S., several countries, including China, Sri Lanka, and India, have at times banned or tightly regulated MLM activity to curb fraud. Even in the United States, some states require MLMs to register or provide disclosures before recruiting. When weighing these critiques, it's important to recognize that they are not simply isolated horror stories. They are patterns documented through decades of legal cases, surveys, and enforcement actions. Supporters of MLM point to the sense of community, the income opportunities, and the chance for personal growth as reasons why people participate. Critics counter that without meaningful reform, too many individuals will continue to be misled, overspend, and leave disillusioned. The future of network marketing may very well depend on how effectively companies address these critiques by prioritizing real retail customers, increasing transparency, and ensuring that the opportunity they promote is fair, sustainable, and grounded in genuine value. Network marketing versus affiliate and influencer marketing. Finally, it's worth comparing network marketing with two other modern approaches: affiliate marketing and influencer marketing. On the surface, all three involve independent individuals promoting products, but their structures and strategies are very different. Network marketing, or MLM, is built around a multi-level commission system. A distributor earns money not only from their own sales, but also from the sales made by people they recruit, and even from additional generations of recruits beneath them. This creates the promise of residual income, but it also means success often depends on building and managing a team rather than simply selling products. Affiliate marketing is far simpler. Affiliates earn a direct commission on each sale generated through their personal link or referral code. There are no downlines, no recruitment, and no complex overrides, just a straightforward transaction between the affiliate, the merchant, and the customer. Influencer marketing works differently again. Here, individuals monetize their audience through brand partnerships, sponsored posts, or affiliate links, but the key asset is their personal brand and reach. Influencers don't build sales networks. They leverage trust and visibility to generate sales or awareness. The entry costs also differ. Joining a traditional MLM usually requires buying a starter kit or maintaining product purchases each month. Affiliates, in contrast, can typically join for free and start promoting right away, while influencers need to invest time and effort into building an audience, but not necessarily money to access programs. In practice, affiliate and influencer models are often seen as lower risk compared to MLM, where upfront costs and ongoing commitments can be substantial. Control and branding also set these models apart. MLM distributors are tied to one company's brand and must follow strict rules on how to market its products. Affiliates enjoy more freedom. They can choose products across many niches and create their own content to support their promotions. Influencers, meanwhile, have the most control, since their credibility depends entirely on the trust of their audience. They tend to be selective, partnering only with brands that fit their values and image. Another difference lies in community. MLM highlights its support systems. Uplines, teams, and motivational events are designed to give participants a sense of belonging. Affiliate and influencer marketing are usually more independent, without built-in mentoring or group structures. Whether this is a positive or a negative depends on the individual. Some thrive in community, while others prefer full independence. Earnings also follow different patterns. Affiliate commissions are straightforward. You make a sale, you get paid, usually a percentage of the transaction. Influencer income is highly variable, ranging from free products to thousands of dollars per post depending on audience size. MLM promises the possibility of passive income through downlines, but in reality, most distributors earn modest amounts unless they can recruit and sustain very large teams. Affiliates and influencers also benefit from diversification. They can promote many brands at once, whereas MLM participants are often tied to a single company and its fortunes. Despite these differences, the lines are beginning to blur. Many modern MLMs borrow tactics from affiliate and influencer marketing, encouraging distributors to use social media and content creation to build their business. Conversely, influencers increasingly rely on affiliate links and referral codes to monetize their reach. All three rely heavily on word-of-mouth trust, but they channel it in different ways. Affiliates through performance-driven sales, influencers through sponsored influence, and MLM through network-based duplication. From a business strategy perspective, companies choose among these models based on their goals. Affiliate marketing is ideal for broad, low-cost exposure where the brand pays only for results. Influencer marketing is more about targeted reach and brand image, often with a higher cost. Network marketing functions almost like outsourcing your sales force to passionate customers who also recruit others. Each approach has strengths and weaknesses. MLM can achieve rapid growth, but carries reputational baggage and regulatory risk. Affiliate marketing offers scale and low cost, but struggles with loyalty. Influencer marketing creates authenticity and deep connections, but depends on the ongoing popularity of the influencer. In the end, these three models can be seen as points on a spectrum. MLM is the most structured and community-driven, with high potential rewards but also high participant risk. Affiliate marketing is flexible and performance-based, without the hierarchy. Influencer marketing is built on trust and personality rather than structure. As industries evolve, hybrid models are emerging that combine aspects of all three. Yet the key difference remains. Affiliate and influencer marketing do not depend on recruitment for duplication, while MLM always has. That distinction defines how income is generated, how sustainable it is, and what kind of experience each path creates. Conclusion. From its beginnings in the mid-20th century to where it stands today, network marketing has shown itself to be both adaptable and deeply controversial. The industry grew from pioneers like Neutralite and Amway into a global force that once peaked at nearly $180 billion in annual sales. Along the way, major turning points, the Amway court case in 1979, the rise of women leaders in the 1980s, and the arrival of the internet in the 1990s, reshaped how the business worked and who it appealed to. Now, however, the traditional model faces growing challenges. In mature markets, both sales and participation are stagnating or even declining. Long-standing criticisms, from inventory stockpiling to exaggerated income claims, remain powerful obstacles. The reality is that the industry's survival depends on its ability to reinvent itself. The encouraging sign is that a path forward already exists. The shift toward what many call network marketing 4.0 is creating a new framework, one that blends digital tools, social media, and customer-first strategies with the personal relationships that MLM has always relied on. By allowing distributors to act more like influencers or affiliates, by giving them multiple income streams, and by aligning opportunities with real customer demand, this new model addresses many of the problems of the past. In doing so, it connects naturally with today's broader gig economy and social commerce movements, where individuals monetize their knowledge, creativity, and networks online. Still, the central challenge remains: ensuring that the opportunity is legitimate, sustainable, and rooted in genuine product value rather than endless recruiting. Regulators are watching closely, and companies that fail to adapt will likely face sharper scrutiny and legal consequences. The firms that thrive will be the ones that shift their focus from recruitment-driven growth to customer-driven sales, and that treat their representatives not as replaceable cogs in a downline, but as independent entrepreneurs and partners. The history of network marketing is both a story of innovation and a cautionary tale of what happens when incentives go unchecked. For strategists and entrepreneurs, it offers lessons in how to build motivated communities and distribute products at scale, but also warnings about how quickly credibility can collapse when hype overtakes substance. Decades of evidence show that traditional MLM structures are constrained by saturation, regulatory scrutiny, and inherent inequities, while affiliate and influencer marketing, though effective, lack the community and compounding potential that network marketing once promised. The only hope is to create something superior to all the other models, take the best parts of network marketing and get rid of the rest. That's what Network Marketing 4.0 does, and if you're looking to learn more, click on the video in the description and join the new era of network marketing.